The night air was thick with the scent of fried dough and the joyful cacophony of the annual harvest festival. Emma clutched her sketchbook to her chest, her fingers stained with charcoal smudges. At 17, she preferred the quiet corners where she could observe unnoticed, capturing moments on paper rather than participating in them. Her amber eyes scanned the vibrant stalls, a gnawing sensation of unease settling in her stomach despite the festive atmosphere. Beside her, Alex laughed easily, his tousled brown hair falling into his eyes as he tried to coax her into the crowd. "Come on, Em," he urged, his guitar slung over his shoulder. "It's our last festival before graduation. Let's make it count." She offered a faint smile, but her gaze drifted to the horizon where a sliver of crimson light flickered unnaturally against the twilight sky. As dusk deepened, the twinkling lights of the fairground seemed to stretch into infinity, the pathways twisting in unfamiliar ways. Emma noticed a tent she hadn't seen before, its fabric shimmering like liquid under the lantern glow. Intricate symbols adorned its entrance, and a sign above read, "The Timekeeper's Carnival." An unsettling melody wafted from within, drawing them closer despite a silent warning ringing in her mind. "I've never seen this here before," Alex mused, his curiosity piqued. Emma hesitated. "Maybe we should stick to the main fair." But Alex was already stepping inside, and not wanting to be left alone, she followed. The interior was vast, impossibly larger than the exterior suggested. Shadows clung to corners where the light didn't reach, and the air was thick with the scent of old paper and something sweetly rotten. From the darkness emerged a figure, a clown dressed in antiquated garb, his face painted in stark whites and reds that accentuated the sharp angles of his features. His eyes were pools of inky blackness, reflecting the flickering flames of the lanterns. "Welcome," he intoned, his voice echoing as if reaching them across a great distance. "I've been awaiting visitors with spirit." Emma's skin prickled. "We didn't mean to intrude," she said softly, but the clown's grin widened. "Intrude? Not at all. You've arrived precisely where you're meant to be." Before they could respond, the tent flaps closed behind them with a gust of wind, and the ground beneath shifted. The walls melted away, and they found themselves standing in the center of their town, or a twisted version of it. Buildings leaned at impossible angles, the moon hung too low and too red, and the festival sounds were distorted, like a record played at the wrong speed. Panic surged through Emma as she grasped Alex's hand. "This isn't real," she whispered, her heart hammering in her chest. Alex's grip tightened. What did that clown do? He scanned their surroundings, eyes wide with disbelief. Laughter echoed from all directions, cruel and mocking. The clown appeared atop a warped lamppost, balancing effortlessly. "Welcome to my realm," he declared. "A place where time and space dance to my whim, and where the games are just beginning." He conjured a deck of cards, letting them scatter to the wind. Each card transformed into a distorted visage of townsfolk they knew, their faces contorted in fear. Emma felt cold dread seep into her bones. "Why are you doing this?" she shouted up at him. The clown tilted his head. "Because I can. Because it's been so dreadfully dull and I crave amusement." They ran, their footsteps echoing on the cobblestone streets that seemed to stretch endlessly. No matter which alley they turned down, they ended up back at the town square under the oppressive gaze of the clown. The world around them began to warp further. Doors led to nowhere, the sky churned like a living thing, and whispering voices taunted them with their own fears. Alex fell to his knees, hands over his ears. "Make it stop!" he cried. Emma knelt beside him, fighting back tears. "We have to stay strong," she urged, though her own voice wavered. She thought of her parents. always too busy to notice her art or her achievements, the constant feeling of invisibility. The voices seemed to sense her thoughts and began to chant, "Alone, alone, always alone." The clown descended slowly, his feet never touching the ground. "Your fears are delicious," he sneered. Determination sparked within Emma. "You're feeding off our fears," she realized aloud. She stood, lifting her chin defiantly. But fear can be faced. She opened her sketchbook with trembling hands and began to draw. Her lines were swift but deliberate, forming symbols she didn't consciously recognize. The clown's smile faltered as he watched her. "What are you doing?" he demanded, his voice losing some of its echoing power. Alex looked up, confusion mingling with hope. "Emma?" She didn't reply, fully immersed in her creation. The symbols on the page began to glow softly. The oppressive atmosphere wavered, and the whispers faded. The clown lunged forward, but Alex sprang to his feet, blocking his path. "You won't touch her," he growled, surprising even himself with the steadiness of his voice. The clown snarled, but hesitation flickered in his dark eyes. Emma's drawing was complete. A detailed rendering of a clock striking 12, surrounded by the same symbols that adorned the tent. She took a deep breath and tore the page from the book, holding it aloft. "This game is over," she declared. A surge of energy erupted from the page, enveloping them in blinding light. The clown screamed, a sound of rage and despair, as the fabricated world began to crack like shattered glass. Fragments of the distorted reality fell away, revealing glimpses of the real town beneath. "You think you can escape?" the clown roared, his form beginning to dissolve. "Time is mine to command. Space bends to my will." Emma stepped toward him, empathy softening her features. "You're trapped, too," she realized, "bound to this prison you've created. But you don't have to be." She extended her hand. "Let go." For a moment, the clown's facade slipped, revealing a pale, weary face beneath the paint. A flicker of vulnerability. His eyes searched hers, confusion and longing evident. The world continued to crumble around them, the pieces falling faster. He stammered, reaching out tentatively. But as their fingers almost touched, fear overtook him. "No!" he cried, recoiling. "I won't be confined again." With a final, anguished scream, he shattered into a swarm of black butterflies that dispersed into the collapsing sky. The last remnants of the twisted realm disintegrated, and Emma and Alex found themselves back in the festival's heart, surrounded by the familiar sights and sounds of celebration. The night was calm, as if nothing had happened. They stood in stunned silence, the vibrant lights casting a warm glow on their faces. Alex exhaled slowly. Did any of that just happen?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Emma looked down at her sketchbook. The page with the clock drawing was gone, but in its place was a single black feather pressed between the pages. "I think it did," she replied softly, tracing the feather's edge. She felt a profound sadness for the clown, a being consumed by his own creation, lost between dimensions. "Maybe he found some peace," she said hopefully. Alex draped an arm around her shoulders, pulling her close. "Thanks to you." They began to walk, the festival resuming its normalcy around them. Laughter and music filled the air, and the weight of their ordeal began to lift. As they moved away from the crowded thoroughfare, Emma glanced back one last time. At the edge of the festival grounds, just beyond the reach of the lights, she thought she saw a figure watching. A man with a pale face and sad eyes. But when she blinked, he was gone. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, carrying with it a whisper that sounded like gratitude. Emma smiled faintly, a sense of closure settling within her. "Ready to make some real memories?" Alex asked, nudging her gently. She nodded, feeling a newfound courage stirring. "Yeah," she agreed, her voice stronger. "I think I am." Together, they disappeared into the warm embrace of the festival night, unaware of the subtle shift in the stars above, a testament to barriers broken and the lingering impact of compassion in the face of darkness.